Okay, so in the last session, we take a look at inheritance, and now the next important concept in OOPS that we're going to cover is polymorphism. So I'm going to create a new package for polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism. Right. And if I talk about polymorphism as in polymorphism, so what polymorphism means? Polymorphism means that same name plus multiple forms. As in multiple form for it could be action, it could be behavior. Right. So when we are talking about action, then how the actions are achieved in Java, they are achieved using the methods. Right. So when we are talking about polymorphism, it has something related to methods only. Right. Now there are n number of polymorphism available, like the type of polymorphism that I talk about, type of polymorphism, which you may have heard about things related to something called as compile time polymorphism, something called as runtime polymorphism, right? Something that is called as early binding, late binding. If you're not familiar of these terms, don't worry about it. I'll be explaining all these things in detail. Static binding, right? Something called as overloading, overriding, right? So n number of terms are there in case of polymorphism, but there are only two type of polymorphism available. One is compile time polymorphism, and the other one is runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism, we also call it as early binding. We can call it as static binding, and we can also call it as overloading. So when you go for interview, if there is any question when asked from polymorphism, they'll straight away not going to ask from overload. They may ask you what is static binding or what is early binding, right? What is runtime polymorphism, right? So no one will directly going to ask you what is overloading, right? So from these three terms, there will be a lot of questions when interview is specifically focusing on OOPS concept, right? And all these four terms are the same thing, right? Compile time, polymorphism, early binding, static binding, overloading, all these are one single type of polymorphism. So, and when we talk about runtime polymorphism, we call it as a late binding, dynamic binding, and overriding, right? So this is what your overriding is, which is the second type of polymorphism. So overriding, runtime polymorphism, late binding, dynamic binding, all these are the same terms, right? So what are these things? We'll be understanding it in some time. Now let's start with overloading first. Now what is overloading? So overloading means same method name and different signature, right? Means in same class we have multiple methods with same name but different method signatures. Now, what exactly is method signature? What do I mean by method signature over here? For example, let's say if I create a new class with a name, let's say RBI, right? That is the full form is Reserve Bank of India, right? So something related to banking we are talking about. So in bank, we have many functionalities available. Let's say method that says get home loan, rate of interest, right, with a parameter bank name. So if I talk about method signature is a combination of a method name and the parameter. This whole thing is basically a signature, a method signature. Now, overloading, it says that in the same class we have multiple method with same name. Now, if we have multiple method with same name, let's say I add another method with the same name, it will actually going to give you an error that duplicate method in this class, right? But here it also says that it should have a different method signature. Then how we can make a different method signature? We can actually change the parameter over here. So over here I can add another parameter, that is, let's say, int amount. Now you can see the signature changes, right? The method name remains the same. So having multiple method with same name but different method signature, that is what overloading is. Now, in how many types the parameter that the method signature can be different, right? When in terms we are talking about overloading, we can have different number of parameters, different as in this contains only one parameter, and the another method with the same name contains two parameters, right? The second way is that I can have one parameter, but the type should be different, right? Or maybe the type is also same. I can have string like bank name and int amount, right? And this will also gonna have two parameters. If I write it like this way, then it will be duplicate. Else what I can do, I can change the sequence in such a way that initially it accepts integer, and then it accepts uh, the string format, right? So these are couple of ways of implementing the overloading by making the signature different. Even if you leave it blank, then also it is a different signature. Let's say even if I remove this thing, then also it is blank, then also the signature is different. The method name is same, but the signatures are different. Now let me create one more class. Let me delete this. I'll come back to this example later on. But before that, I'll create a simple class. Let's say I create a class with the name overloading example. Right, the main method. So you need to make sure that when you are implementing overloading, then the method should be inside the same class, right? It should not like that a method, let's say I create a method add over here with some arguments, some parameters, and in another class I'll create the same method add, and then it will overload that method. It will not gonna happen like that. So in case of overloading, all the methods are in same class itself. Now let's say if I just write some parameter over here, int a, int b, right? Now we have two methods inside this class. One is main method, one is add. Right now there is no overloading. Right now, what I can do, I can create another method with some more arguments. Let's say int c. Right now the signatures are different. So this is what overloading is. Now, what is the need of overloading? At times, it may happen that you need to add two numbers. So when you want to add two numbers, you will be calling this method. When you add more than two numbers, like three numbers, you may be calling this method. So at times, when creating an object of this class, you'll say obj equal to new class name, and when you say obj, and if you want to add two numbers, then you will be calling the method that is add int a and int b Or else, if you want to add three numbers, then you will be calling the overloaded method with three arguments, three parameters, right? Now, if I take another example, let's say we take example of Facebook. So initially, like when Facebook was implemented, the login was with your mobile number itself, right? So give the mobile number, give the password, and login into Facebook. Later on, they implemented the username functionality as well. Give username and password, and then enter into Facebook. Now, many people are still using their mobile number in order to enter, perform login into Facebook. Let's say they may have created a method called as to login that accepts int mobile number and string password. Now later on, they implemented a functionality that like someone who wants to enter through username can enter through username as well. There is no need to give the mobile number. So will we going to change this to string and then username? Then next time if someone wants to enter the mobile number, how are you gonna do that? Because this accepts a string argument, right? So here we need to provide username instead of mobile number. So what they have done, they have actually created an overloaded method, right? So over here we can say int and the mobile number and then string and the password. So if next time you want to log in, you can also say obj dot and you say to login. So either you log in using the mobile number or the password. You just need to pass on two parameter. It will automatically gonna adjust based on the method signature. So if you give 10 and the password, it will gonna accept it. Similarly, if you're not giving numeric, like you're not giving your mobile number over here, you want to give your username. So let's say username is this will still gonna accept it. But when you're giving string argument, it will actually gonna call this method, and when you're giving mobile number over here, it will gonna give a call to this method, right? So at times there are some questions being asked in interviews, as in there's one of the most famous question that is can we achieve overloading by keeping the method signature same and changing the return type, right? And the answer to this is no. Now, when I talk about return type, there are times when this is not a void method when it returns you integer value, right? Let's say int and return, let's say some value like 10. So you can see if I remove this will gonna work fine. But if we have same method signature but different return type as well, this is still not overloading it, right? So it will still gonna throw you duplicate method addition, right? A duplicate method. This will not gonna work like this way. So whenever you have a question in interview that can be have the same signature but a different return type to a method, then that is not overloading. All right. Also, this is because if let's say if overloading accepts like a method like this with different return type. Let's assume if I call this method addition, right? Now, while calling a method, which part of method is actually called over here? The part that is called is the signature, right? The arguments that we need to pass. So let's say if I pass the argument 10 and 20, right? While calling the method, do we ever like confirm that okay, call a method which is having a return type as int or void, right? We never confirm that thing, right? We just simply call a method and it asks us to pass on the arguments over here. So if the argument remains the same, so here ambiguity will gonna come, right? The compiler may get confused that where he should actually enter 10 or 20, where it should actually enter it, either it enter it's inside this method or this method, right? So this is why like the overloading, it's not feasible where we have different return types but the same method signature, right? Now again, let's say you thought of creating a method with the same name, same signature, but different variable name. Now will it gonna work? No, again, it will not gonna work, right? So no matter the variable names are different, but the signature remains the same, right? The type remains the same. So if the type is same, it will not gonna work. It will again gonna show you duplicate methods over here. But here, if I change this to double, then it will gonna accept it because the type is changed. Again, this is overloading. And again, if I go over here and create the same two parameters but a different sequence, then again it will allow it. There won't be any error, right? Now again, if I create a method with a type byte A and byte B, right? Different type. Now just look at this method. I'll move it over here. Right, these two methods. Now when I say obj dot add and value 10 like 1 and 2. So which will be called? Will this be called first or will this be called first? So you can check this thing by doing control and mouse over and click on this and it will take you this method. Right, because the numeric arguments are called first. But then how will you call this method? If in case you want to call the byte one, how will you gonna call it? So explicitly you need to tell it. Like you will be doing something like this. Byte b1 equal to, let's say, 10, byte b2 equal to 20, and then copy this method, use it over here, say b1 and b2. Now if you do a mouse over on add, you can see it is actually pointing to the byte one, right? If you do a mouse over on this, it will point over to the integer one, right? So these are some of the things that you need to like take care of when you are using the overloaded methods, right? Because at times when you will be working on Selenium, Appium, or even REST APIs, you're gonna find there are many methods having a same name but different signatures, right? Different arguments. So those are basically overloaded methods. Okay, so let's understand one more thing. Let's say I'm gonna comment out everything that we have written. I'll just comment it out, right? We have just one method over here. I'll comment out these things as well, right? Now I can have another method which is let's say double A and int B, right? And I'll change this to double as well, right? Or so here the duplication is not there. See, it is allowing us to create these methods, but the error is actually coming at the runtime. It is showing it as ambiguous, right? Because when we call this method, the very first it is looking for integer argument, and both of the method contains the integer argument. Right, so the compiler is getting confused over here. Where to pass these values? Whether to pass the values over here, whether to pass the value over here in this method, right? So the compiler is getting confused over here. right? This is another a tricky interview question, right? So just look at the data types that you are actually defining. If the data types are similar when you are working in a like overloaded method, right? Maybe the signature is different. You may gonna get this sort of ambiguity as well, right? So if I comment it out, I mean, if I do this thing, if I create something like double A and double B. Now this time, if I comment out the first one, see the ambiguity is gone. It will accept it. And same way, if I comment out the second one, again it will gonna accept it. But if I comment out the double one, so it has nothing to do with this double one. So the ambiguity is over here when you have similar types defined, right? So it gets confused where to pass the values. So that is what you need to be careful while working with overloading. So there are two things, right? One is duplicacy and one is ambiguity. So ambiguity comes when you are calling the method at the runtime, right? When you are calling the method at the compile time, you're gonna get that error, right? So the error that you get at the compile at the method calling is basically the ambiguity, and the error that you're gonna get while duplicate methods, right? While defining declaring the method, similar method with similar signature, then you're gonna get duplication. So these are the two things that you're gonna face when you're working with overloading. Now, let's come to why we call it as compile time polymorphism, because the things are defined at the compile time itself over here. Right, at the compile time, like at the compile time itself, you should be able to see all the overloaded methods over here, right? So these things are decided at the compile time itself. And next, why we call it as early binding? Because it is decided, it is actually binded before we run this method. Before we actually run this method, so this thing is actually binded, right? So that is the reason we call it as early binding. And why we call it as static binding? Because once it is being binded, it will not gonna change at the runtime. So that is the reason we call it as compile time, early binding, static binding, and that is what your overloading is. Now there is another important interview question that can we overload the main method in Java? And the answer to that is yes, we can. We can create another main method over here. See, this is the main method. I can create another method, public void main, but the signature has to be different. So I can overload it. I can also make it static, right? Let me comment out this. This is 29. So I can also make it static. I can add some argument over here int a, but this should not be the same argument. I mean, same as in this is string array. I can keep string, but not string array. If I keep it string array, then it will be duplicate, right? So we can overload main method as well, but the signature of that method should be different. So when we are talking about methods, there is another term that you may have heard about, something called as where args. Now, what is this thing? As in, I can create a method, and this method should be capable of, let's say I've created a method called addition, and I want to make it capable of accepting as many as argument it can. So what I'm gonna write over here, I'll say it accepts numeric value and like this, something no, not I. So this is what your var args is, right? So how are you going to call it? You're going to say obj dot addition, and over here you can pass on the total numbers that you want to add like this. So if you are passing four values over here, then how are you going to add these four values, right? You simply cannot say a plus b plus c plus d, right? So this will actually going to come in a form of an array, right? You if in case you say like int var equal to a, see it will actually going to throw an error. It will say that cannot convert from int of a string type. So this will actually be stored in a form of an array, and then you can write a for loop and then you can add these numbers, right? So just Google around for var args example, right? So this although these are not very much in use, but it could be asked in interviews as well, right? What are var args and how you actually define them, right? So this could be used in method overloading as well. All right. So what else we can see in overloading? Okay, tell me one thing. Is the system out println, the println method, like we very frequently use system out println. So is the println method overloaded or not? Let us see. If I do system out println, so if I do dot println, see this is an overloaded method. So println method of Java is also overloaded. All right. So that's all we have in overloading. In the next lecture, we're gonna look at overriding, right? Which is very much in use when we are working on a framework designing part, or when we are using implementing these Java concepts. So overriding is very much in use. All right.